Community Power Cornwall is a social enterprise and it is a cooperative. We are a mutual society, so we're not a for-profit profit organisation. We don't exist to maximise shareholder return. We exist for our social purpose, which in our case is benefiting our members and benefiting our local community. Part of that is joint ventures with large commercial developers where we own a stake and we make a proportion community owned. Part of that is our core thing of 100% community owned turbines, and part of that is doing small stuff that is marginal but might provide on-site supply to community buildings or charities like we're doing at BF.
BF Adventure was formerly known as Bishop's Forum, and we've been here on this site now for 25 years. It's an old granite quarry just outside Falmouth and Penryn. Our focus is supporting young people in Cornwall, particularly those that are disadvantaged or disaffected. We do everything from climbing, abseiling, lots of water sports, lots of adventure games in the quarry behind us here. If it's got an outdoor focus, we deliver it at the site here.
I've always had a bit of a relationship with the crowd over at BF Adventure since 2002 now. They've been struggling to raise money to do things with the site for a long number of years. So we initially looked at how we could improve the buildings there, improve the site, improve the facilities.
Every charity always struggles with finance, and because we've got such a fantastic centre, it gets a huge amount of use, costs a huge amount of money each year to keep it operating. Last year we spent over £5,000 just on heating and light for the site. So the opportunity with the turbine is fantastic. We'll obviously be generating our own power, so our carbon footprint will be dramatically reduced, but in the short term it will save us upwards of £2,000 a year. So that's £2,000 we'll be able to put directly back into working with young people and supporting them to progress and make a real difference with their lives.
We want the people who live here to share in the economic benefits from our natural resources. And we think that the more of that benefit we can keep within our community, the better.
This is a project that's been 5 years in the making. We've been working closely with Paul from Community Power Cornwall and Neil Fountain from Community Energy Plus. They've done a lot of the background work, funding, they've accessed the revolving green fund, they've managed to work with Energy Share to procure some funding, they've managed to put the whole project in place and do the planning permission for us.
The site of BF Adventure is over 50 acres. They've got lots of quarries, there's woodlands, there's lakes, there's ponds, there's footpaths. Essentially, when we're looking at wind turbine sites, we looked for the most elevated position, which is the easy place to start.
It's a very exposed site to the prevailing winds. It looks out to sea from pretty much all directions. We had a height restriction from the ATC radar cold rose, and that meant that this was the only turbine that would go there. It's an Aircon, it's a 10 kilowatt machine, it's on a 12-metre tower, and it should produce about 20 to 22,000 units a year, which should be a good proportion of what they'll use on site.
It's a nice size, very technical, great efficiency, great output, very, very quiet. The company produces about 30,000 kilowatt hours a year, which is enough to power about 8 homes.
The first port of call will be to our own needs, so we'll utilise the power as and when we need it. Any excess power will be fed directly into the local grid, and obviously it will meet the power needs locally.
The whole area had to be reworked there, so when you put up a wind turbine you have to put in a grid application to Western Power to make sure that they can export onto the line, but also with that site the buildings electrically were very poor. They could barely put on 2 kettles without tripping switches, so that whole site was rewired.
We've managed to access funding from EDF Energy. They've basically provided us the money to enable us to upgrade our facilities. So it's meant that we've brought 3-phase power into the site to meet all our current and future needs.
What we're trying to do going forward is we're trying to develop a range of technologies, a range of scales and a range of models. So we want to do joint ventures with landowners and we want to do joint ventures with commercial developers. We want to stick also to our core thing, which is 100% community owned sites that are very much found and led by the locals. And we're also interested in this sort of on-site supply. Rather than selling to the grid, you're doing on-the-site energy supply. We think that's an important sort of model in the way, things that's linked to buildings.
And it's really nice we've been able to help them move forward, achieve something new. Our
purpose is around carbon, our purpose is around benefiting our members and benefiting the community, and this small machine can do that. You know, it can reduce carbon and it can provide cheap electricity to a charity that does really good work in our community. We saw we could save the charity about £1,500 on their energy bills. We have borrowed money from a community development finance institution called the Low Carbon Society. which is supported by Cornwall Council, and we have also been given a grant by Energy Share.
Energy Share are absolutely over the moon to have been able to support the project with £30,000 from our Energy Share fund. We really hope this will help us to find other projects across the county that we can support and help to make their ambitions around renewable energy a reality.
We're glad that we can save money for the charity, which helps them meet their charitable objectives, but also we want the people around in the area to be able to benefit from this and have a stake in it. I mean, it is community owned, so we want them not just for it to be community owned, but them to feel like it's community owned. Part of that is having a vote, having a stake in it. To that end, there will be a share offer launched this summer. We do have open membership, people can join us. That's the nature of being a community co-op.
We're now 3 months into the year with the turbine running. It's made a real positive impact on site. We've had a direct saving already of £250 in our utility bills. 6 months ago, if we turned on the lights and the kettle and someone tried to dry their hands in the toilets, the whole site would trip. Now we've got all the power we need, and that's really enabled us to springboard into the next sort of stage of development. So we're progressing now with a new kitchen build. We'll be generating our own power for that, and the new facility is going to be a real asset to the site. And it's really thanks to the support of Neil, of Paul and the Community Power team that we've actually managed to get to this stage. And it has to be said that now the turbine's in and installed and working, the feedback's been fantastic. We haven't had any issues around noise. Visually, we actually, and the team agree with this, think it's really added to the site. It's a fantastic feature. We can take clients up there, teach them about wind strength, wind direction, watch it as it sort of moves through the day as the storms pass. It's a really good visual feature actually, and a real addition to our sort of educational resource, and a fantastic thing on top of the hill.
So the site is fully operational now at BF Adventure. We've also got the turbines that have been running down at Gorham for the last couple of years. Hopefully other communities that have similar interests can come and see us, come and talk to us, come to the sites themselves, have a look at the turbines, listen to it yourself. See what you think about them, and if you're really interested in developing your own projects, we can help you move forward. We can look at sites, we can look at resources in your local area, and we can come up with plans to reduce your energy and then focus on how you can potentially generate it for yourselves.